I'm gonna do like a little mini masterclass today with y'all. So when a few more people join, I'll start that. But what I wanted to tell you is today we're talking about how to reinvent your career, how to reinvent your business, your Substack, your writing, your life, all the things. Hi, Kyra. All the things. Flora, all the things, how to reinvent. So, reinvent. Most people aren't saying, I want to reinvent my life. Most people are thinking, my life sucks, or I have an amazing life, but I'm still not happy. Like, that's something that a lot of people think. I have an amazing life, but I'm still not happy. Hey, Rev. And so I want to talk about it. So the first thing is that if you either want to if you want to start over, if you want to reinvent your life, you're not happy with something going on with your life, it requires you making a decision as to why you want something new. What do you want? Why don't you have what you want? You're probably saying to yourself, I don't really know why I can't get unstuck around this. So, a lot of women that I coach are over 50 and they're stuck around selling. Why can't I just sell something? Or even, hi, the joy of courage. Or even, they have a Substack. Since we're on Substack, we'll talk about Substack. They're on Substack and they're writing, but people aren't reading. Why aren't people reading? Why aren't people subscribing? Why aren't I having the kind of conversations that I thought I would have on here? Or some people might have the opposite problem, like, why can't I keep up? I have all these people subscribing, but yes, you must discover your why. So I have all these people subscribing, but they're not paying for subscriptions or they're not talking to me or opening my emails. That's the kind of thoughts people are having. Or they're saying, this job sucks. And I just wish more people would buy from me so that I can quit this damn job and work for myself. That's the kind of reinvention I'm talking about. And the first step is figuring out why you're unhappy, what you're saying to yourself. And the next step is deciding what the hell do you want? Like, what do you really want? Because most people complain and they know they're not happy, but they don't know what they want. Get clear. And let me backtrack. Most people know what they want, but they're afraid to claim it. So this is about claiming what the hell you want. And I'll tell you a brief story about a client I had. She got laid off her job, which a lot of people are getting laid off their jobs nowadays. She got laid off her job and she knew she did not want to look for another job. She did not want to go back into that kind of environment. And she had been a meeting planner for 20 years. Single mom, 2 kids, didn't want to go back to work. Well, in our first session, we were talking, and come to find out, she has psychic abilities. And she was afraid to tell anybody. She just knew stuff. She didn't know how she knew it. She just knew that she knew it. And she actually started working with a pretty famous psychic to figure out how she could be more intentional about helping people with her psychic abilities. But she still hadn't told her friends, her family. She just kind of kept it to herself. So we started talking, and I said, what if you started using your psychic abilities around coaching people? And she wasn't certified as a coach. She had never done coaching. And she was interested in hearing what I had to say. So I said, what else are you interested in? And she said, well, I'm a single mom and I'm dating, and I would love to help other single moms to manage their mind around dating or to get out there online and start dating. So she started a coaching business helping single moms around dating using her psychic abilities. And she made $8,000 in 18 days as a new coach. So most of you are writers. So let's take this example. She's not on Substack, but let's take this example. What if you wrote around your psychic abilities, stories around having psychic abilities, stories about how you coached your clients? Or if you didn't want to write nonfiction, what if you wrote something that was fictional around being a psychic abilities? Then you started charging not for subscriptions, but for coaching, or you started creating digital products. This is how you monetize your Substack. So the way you start to reinvent is the same way. So my client reinvented her career totally. Meeting planner to coach using psychic abilities, total reinvention, right? But how did she do that? Because most people are asking how. And put your questions. If you have questions, or you want to put an example of where you are and where you want to be in your reinvention, put it in the comments and I could talk about who's on the call specifically. But she could be on Substack writing about those things. So I've heard people say, oh, well, I just write because I love it. Okay, well, you could still get paid for what you love. I'll tell you about me, my reinventions. I've had multiple reinventions, but the latest one was I quit my job and I got coached all around it because I was afraid. I had been an accountant the last 16 years of my career, an accountant in a law firm in DC. Totally miserable. I was miserable really after probably a couple of months once I saw what was going on there, and I ended up staying there for 16 years. But I reinvented myself and became a coach. I also reinvented the fact that I had been married for 20 years and got separated right before I got that job. And so I was going through a divorce. So I had to learn how to date again. That's a reinvention going from married to single mom. I have one daughter. At the time, she was a teenager. So what do you have to do? Why? Why was I getting a divorce? Well, there was infidelity. So that was my why. Like, I want out of this situation. I don't want to stay in it. Some people make a choice to tolerate it and stay in it. They chose not to reinvent their life. The choice is yours. If you're miserable, I say our lives are not a prison sentence. So if you are feeling imprisoned by your life, and not just your whole life, but maybe it's one small thing. If there could be one small thing, and I mentioned this to someone the other day, it's like a gnat buzzing around your ear, that one small thing. Who can relate? Come on, y'all, talk to me. This one small thing bugging the hell out of you, causing you to toss and turn at night. Why not reinvent that one thing? One thing. Tell me in the comments, what is it that you want to reinvent? Come on, y'all. This is a back and forth thing. I wanted to show you something. I thought I put it in my chair. Oh, here it is. I tell people that I create magic up in here. I have been using a wand in my business for the 4 years that I've been full time in it, and it was a spiritual download to buy a wand. I was never a fairy tale kinda girl, but I create magic with my clients. I create magic in my own life, and that's what I want you to really, really start to think about, embodying the magic that you could create in your life. Okay, Kara says, I really enjoy your candor and helpful sharing of knowledge. Would love to know how to share about a digital product that is on my website only. Well, first, it shouldn't just be on your website. Do a live, post on social media, tell everybody you meet. The reinvention might be becoming more bold in your abilities to sell your digital products. That's a reinvention because if you're asking this question, maybe you're having trouble selling it right now. Get bold. Tell everybody. I suggest going live on here once a week, and if you can tell me what is your digital product about, because now all the people on here know you have a digital product and they could reach out. Like, depending on what the digital product is, tell stories around your digital product. Your digital product is the solution to a problem. What is the problem you're solving? That's how you share it. You get excited about it. You fall in love with it yourself. You just touched on my reinvention. I need to be more bold. Yes, 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 yes. I'm actually getting ready to teach a free workshop on bold, fun, and monetized or something like that. But how to have more fun in your business. How to be more bold in your life. If you've read my Substack, you'll see that I wrote a story about dating a guy 23 years younger. Talk about being bold. As a woman, we're taught that after 50, we're too old to do things. I don't buy it. So I was bold enough to say yes to a date with a man 23 years younger. And that relationship lasted almost 5 years. After being married to someone who was the same age as me for 20 years and dating him 5 years before that, I stepped into dating someone younger. That's being bold. That's being bold, right, Rev? So, reinvention is about, let's put it this way, it's about being bold enough to share your desires, being bold enough to declare. I I'm in a coaching program, and a young lady, 18 years old, declared that she's going to make $50,000 a month in her business. And I commented, I said, "How bold of you to declare that to a bunch of, adults in the program that are much older." She's pretty young, to be in that coaching program. But she declared her desire to make, yes, being bold enough to get out of your own way. That's a big thing. But she got out of her way because I'm sure she had mindset drama about it. But tell me, Rev, what is it that you want to do that you're getting in your own way of? We're our own worst enemies. We get in our own way all the time because our brains are trying to keep us safe. But the way our bodies view safety could be going live. It could feel unsafe to tell your stories. Last week, I did a live on Friday, actually, and I said, "Tell your story. Tell your story." You know who I first heard say that? Iyanla Van Zant, if you guys know Iyanla. I went to I participated in 2 different spiritual retreats with her. And this was years ago, and one of the biggest things that stands out in my mind is her saying, "Tell your story. Tell your story because your story not only saves you, helps you, blesses you, but it helps other people." So when we tell our story, this is the other thing, when we tell our story, we get to tell our story however the hell we want to tell our story. So if you tell a poor, pitiful me story, that's how you're going to be living. But if you tell a bold, ambitious, badass story, then that's how it's going to show up. Oh, okay. You were ordained by Iyanla. I know someone that did, her program too, and you probably know her. I live in Maryland, and Iyanla's in Maryland. My old client who I worked with is in Maryland too, and she just got ordained maybe a couple of months ago. Okay. So now you need to tell me if you're getting in your own way and you just finished the seminary and you were ordained, you know what to do. You're just not doing it. There's some fear, and this is for everybody, me too. But the difference in me and you is I have the skills to push past my fears. I practice the strategies to push past my fears. I practice turning around the thoughts that are keeping me stuck. And that's what gets in most people's way when they want to reinvent their lives. If tomorrow you said, I'm going to become a baker and open a baking business and start, let's say, baking cookies, um, you get to decide. Tomorrow you could say, I'm a baker. You don't have to wait until you've baked 50 dozen cookies and sold them before you say, I'm a baker. You don't have to prove it to anyone by yourself. So, for anybody like Rev that has many interests and ideas, pick one. I'm telling you, you're going to stay stuck until you pick one. And then what I hear from people is, I don't know how to pick one. I can't just pick one. You know what I say? Write each one, listen, write each one down on a piece of paper, throw them all in a hat, shake it up, and pick one. Ooh, let's see. I could definitely relate. I'm in the process of resuming helping family history enthusiasts and memory keepers. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You guys can read it. I know the power of my mind and have manifested many miracles, getting back to doing it, pushing past fear and hesitation. So, the fear is what's going to stop some of you from even writing down all of your ideas, putting them in a hat, and picking one. Nobody can make you do it, right? I can sit here and tell you what to do, but I can't make you do anything. So the desire has to be there. Let the desires of your heart drive you forward. The desire has to be there. And when the desire's there and you step up boldly, then things change. And when you don't know what to do, don't ask a friend. Ask somebody who's not biased, because if you ask a friend or family, a lot of times they're very biased and they're not going to give us an opinion that is really as helpful as we would like. So sometimes you're better off asking a stranger than a family member. But you have to step into the desire. You have to step into the fear and the boldness. Um, Rev probably knows. I heard Iyanla, and I've heard other people say this, but fear is false evidence appearing real. So if you know that what you're saying to yourself isn't real, stop believing it. If it's a made up story, I say fire the liar. Like our brains lie to us all the time. Our brains feed us fearful thoughts that keep us stuck. That's why you don't have the life or the business that you desire, because you're paying more attention. Like most of us believe that whatever we think is the truth and we should believe it. No, 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 no. Not every thought is serving our highest good. A lot of our thoughts are fear based to keep us safe, and we're not really safe. So, right now, let's say Flora feels safer being at home, thinking about the topics, thinking about the things she wants to talk about or tell people about or teach people. She's excited about it, she's researching it. Even Rev, you're researching it, you're enjoying it, but then you never take the next step to talk to other people about it. You never take the next step to write about it. You never take the next step to teach it. You never take the next step to create a digital product to sell it. Then what sense does that make? You have to step out on fear. So if your brain, like I said, fear stands for false evidence appearing real. If you know intellectually that what you're thinking, that it's, oh, okay. If you know that people really aren't going to make fun of you on the internet. Like, that's a big fear of people. "Oh, they're gonna shame me and call me names and say I look old and talk about my gray hair and all things." Even if they did, so what? Who cares what a stranger on the internet thinks? Are they paying your bills? Are they taking care of you? Are they cooking your dinner? No, you don't know them. Just do it. There are times I do things that I'm afraid of. We all do. There's a first time for everything. So each time you do it, it gets a little more comfortable. It gets a little easier. So the way that I combat the fears are with my faith. And I say that I gave it an acronym. Let me get some water. I gave it an acronym. For me, and I think I might have talked about this the other day, faith, faith, fully anticipate it to happen. Y'all, it like jumped out of my brain and jumped back in. Faith, fully anticipate it to happen. So if you step out on faith with your writing, say you want to write a bestseller, most people doubt that their book would be a bestseller. But if you step out fully anticipating it to happen, then everything you do moves in the direction of it happening. So if you believe my book is going to be a bestseller, you believe that, you think it every day, my book is going to be a bestseller. I really believe it. I feel it in my soul. My book is going to be a bestseller, right? Then, so Sherry said, "My book, I'm stepping out on faith, getting it out by December 2nd." Yay! Then come online and tell us all about it, right? Do some lives. So if you fully anticipate it to happen, then you'll do like Sherry. If it's coming out December 2nd, she's already written it and it's being edited or the cover or whatever. Tell us where you are in the process, Sherry. But if you fully anticipate it to happen, then you feel excited, and then you can't wait to tell everybody. So then you tell people, "I got this book coming out. This is the name of it. I can't wait for you to read it." And then you tell them it goes on sale this day. Will you support me? That's stepping into the belief that I am a best-selling writer, right? So then if you keep moving through it, I'm a best-selling writer. That raises excitement in you, and then and commitment, because you have to be committed to take the next steps to get it published and get it out there. And so when you do that and people know about it, then the momentum starts to grow. It's currently in sneak peek. Yay! So then the momentum starts to grow. So the more you tell people about it, the more you love up on whatever it is you're doing. So let's apply this to changing careers. You hate your job. You're sick of it. You're over it. So many people I coach are like over their job. They're just ready to do something different. But in your mind, if you're thinking, I can't quit my job because who's going to pay me what I'm making on that job? Then just saying, "I can't quit my job," you will never quit it. You will never quit it. But when I was ready to quit my job, first of all, I knew I wanted to leave my job, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So once I decided to become a coach, get certified, I knew I'm leaving this job. And I used to always say, "I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm leaving this job. I'm quitting this job." And then the synchronicities, the miracles, the magic started happening, because when you declare it, you start moving into that vortex. You've got to declare it. So when I declared, "I'm quitting this job," yes, stepping out on faith. I'm quitting this job. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm going to do it. So Sherry says her biggest challenge is the fear of success. Tell me more about that. When people say they fear success, I don't really know what that means. So That sounds cuckoo, but being out there in the front scares me, and that's okay. Okay, I get it. So let me finish my story and then I'll talk about fear of success and putting yourself out there. So once I declared that I'm leaving this job, but I don't know how, I got went through a year-long certification for coaching. And then during the certification, I started telling people I'm getting certified. Would you like to work with me? I'm doing some free coaching sessions. Would you like it? So then people started getting on free coaching sessions. Then I started getting brave enough to charge for my coaching. Then, so I'm just painting the picture. Then I started doing free workshops. You see, I started doing all these things for free until I got the courage to charge. So then free workshops. Then in the workshops, I started making an offer. Hey, I'm going to do this group program. Would you like to join me? It costs XYZ. So then I started making money. And when I was on my job, still hating it, still wanting to leave, I created a group program and made $23,000 that month selling that group coaching program. I had never, and this is the other thing people say, well, I never did that before. Well, I had never done that either. I never did that. So that's how I left my job once I made the 23K in a month. I just said, I never made 23K in a month in a job. So why not put myself out there, quit my job, and try to keep making money? Try, I said, but we don't try, we do. And that was 4 years ago, and I'm still running my business full time. And it's up and down. Business is up and down. It's not a steady paycheck, no, but the I've made more than I ever would have made on my job, and I'm so much happier. So, back to Sherry's question, fear of success. Oh, I hear a lot of people. I don't think you're afraid to be successful. I think that you are afraid to take the actions that help grow your success. Does that make sense? Let me know. So you're afraid to take the actions to grow your success. And growing your success, especially for your book, means telling everybody. It's scary to get on camera and tell strangers, I wrote a book. This is what it's about. I would love for you to buy it. So I find that people will tell people they wrote a book, but then they don't sell it. So you've got to be in love with that book, Sherry. You got to tell yes, vulnerability. Vulnerability, being vulnerable will change your entire life. And I am not like, kidding. Being vulnerable will change your entire life. So you've got to be vulnerable. Sherry, tell us what your book is about so I can be even more specific with my suggestions. But you got to be vulnerable. You've got to be bold. You've got to stop believing your brain that's trying to keep you safe. And you've got to redirect your brain. So that means you tell your brain what to think. Yes, we can do that. You can decide to change what you're thinking. If Sherry was thinking, I'm afraid nobody's going to buy my book, that is not going to lead to selling books. So what she wants to think is, this book is going to change lives. I am an amazing writer. My book is going to change lives, and everyone needs to know about my book. That's what sells books, that thought. It's a switch. You just have to, okay, Greg, I got something for you too. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert. Believe it or not. I used to say that I'm a quiet observer. That's how I used to describe myself, as a quiet observer. But I wasn't quiet when it was something that I was excited about. So, Greg, I bet you when you're excited, you're not as introverted. When we do things and we talk about things that we're excited about, that we love, we go crazy. Like we just are all over the place. Yes. So my theory is we have to write about, talk about, sell, be in community with people that are excited about what we're excited about. So for Greg, whatever it is that's making you feel more introverted, do the opposite. Do the things that make you feel that light you up. This lights me up talking about this because I changed my life and I help other people change their life. Why wouldn't I be excited about that? I want you all to come to my world and learn how to change your life. Why would I be shy about that? Yeah, look, I was hesitant even before I got on the live, you know? It's like, "Oh, damn, I gotta be perfect. I have to say the right things," but it's not true. I speak from my soul. Uh, oh, that's an interesting name, Sherry. I love that. A young introverted girl who discovers she comes from a great line. See, that is so powerful right there, Sherry. Powerful. I was a young introverted girl. I'm sure Gary was introverted as a boy too. If you just started talking to all the introverts out there, so it might not seem like I'm an introvert, but I'm talking about what I love. I'm talking about what changed my life. I'm talking about helping you change your life so that you can help other people change their lives. It's a ripple effect. It really is. It's a ripple effect. When we get out of our own way, our own fears, like Rev was saying, she's um afraid of doing certain things and she has so many interests. We all have a lot of interests. But if I talked about every single thing I was interested in, you wouldn't even be here today. I had to pick. So, anybody have any questions before we go? Like, I'm going to start I decided today, I'm going to start coming on once a week and doing a live. Oh, this is the other thing, I almost forgot. So, on my Substack, I'm starting to lean into community a lot more, and I'm going to create a newsletter that goes out every week on what's new, what's coming, what happened last week, in addition to my more storytelling content. But I want to interview people that have reinvented their lives or maybe in the middle of the reinvention. So if that's something that you are interested in, just send me a message. I really want to show examples of people that have reinvented their lives. And that's the other thing. We all are going through many, many, many reinventions. So, from the minute we graduate from high school, you go to college, that's a reinvention. You get a corporate job, that's a reinvention. You get married, that's a reinvention. Because all these things are intentional. I quit my job, that's a reinvention. In February, I came on Substack and decided I am a writer. That's a reinvention. I'm a writer who coaches. And 922 people subscribed to my Substack in May. They've been trickling in now, but I'm really close to 4,000 subscribers. And I just started my Substack in February. Now, to be fair, 1,500 of those people were on my email list before I came over. But still, it's amazing. So, anyway, I'm looking for stories to tell so that we can inspire and encourage others. So, if that's something that you'd like to do, please message me so we can get your story out there. Um, I don't know who everybody is. I thought I could see after the live, who joined. So this is the other thing. If you joined the live, can you just message me and say, hey, and tell me feedback, what you got from it? Um, thank you, Flora. I would love to invite any of you who want to get unstuck to come work with me. I'm even starting to do now a one-off newsletter. I'm sorry, a one-off session for people that don't want to invest a lot of money into coaching or aren't ready. Um, Doing it first in the newsletter, Greg, but I do have a YouTube channel that I'm growing, so eventually I will start interviewing people. Or I may bring you on a live on a Substack. That would be fun too. I could bring you on the live and put it in the newsletter. So this is a new idea, but if you have reinvented and you're ready for your next reinvention, message me. I am here. This is some powerful stuff, and, I have a whole formula for helping you change the way you're thinking. Show up as the new version of yourself because that's really what this is. A reinvention requires an identity shift, and a lot of people either never heard of it or don't know how to shift your identity. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. Yes, do that. Subscribe and follow each other. But I don't know, like for me, I can't share it because, like I said, I went back and I can't see a list of who was on. So I'm going to leave it up to you to reach out to me so we can all stay in community. And you know what I'll do? I will start a chat about the live and about going live and about the topic. So if you're not subscribing, subscribe to my newsletter, The Old Black Lady Chronicles, and let's be in conversation outside of this live today, because this is a crazy, wild world we're living in, and it's so important for us to start creating community among thoughtful leaders, thoughtful thinkers, kind and loving people. That's really what it's all about. So I will see you next week and I will see you on these Substack streets. Bye.